Hi, everybody, and welcome to another weight loss journey live stream slash video later support group meeting, hopefully, where I'm here to support other people, where they're here, I hope, to support me, and we can do this together and talk about our latest accomplishments or lack thereof, setbacks, achievements, etc., whatever it is. And I'll tell you, the people that are here already, that I had a very good week. Okay. After the last 2 weeks, which was very disappointing, only losing the last couple of weeks ounces really each Sunday. This time I had significant weight loss, and I'm very happy about it. I'm going to go into the numbers and again, how weird it can be, how weird the fluctuations can be, and how things can change even in a week if you weigh yourself every day, which I wound up, I didn't weigh myself every day, but I weighed myself, what is this? I weighed myself almost every day. I weighed myself like 4 times during the week. And I'm glad that I've lost some weight, some decent weight this week. So, first, let's see who's here. Gary's here. Hello, Gary. What's going on with you? Letty says, I fell into the trap. I took my son to a Chinese restaurant and I said, I'm not going to eat anything. It's just for him. And they brought me a plate for sharing, and I ended up eating off my diet. Yeah, it's rough, Eddie, but the question is, how's your want power? Did you really want to lose weight? Did you really want it bad enough? If you want it bad enough, there's nothing that they can bring you that you're going to eat. And I have a story to talk about this past week, which I'm very, very proud of myself that I accomplished, where I beat back a really severe day of a cravings situation, and I didn't even cave. And because I used the want power and how much I wanted to lose the weight rather than how much I wanted to eat the junk. So we'll talk about all this as we go, but I'm going to wait around a little bit for some more people. This is accomplishing week 6. I've just finished 6 weeks. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to take the videos that are in my playlists of this topic about the weight loss journey. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start labeling them by week 1, week 2, all the way up to week 6, which is, we're at week 6 now, and beyond that. Okay. And again, that's not saying I'm going to do one of these live streams and videos every single Sunday. There'll be Sundays where I don't do them, I'm sure. Maybe 2 weeks will go by 3, who knows? But right now I'm doing them almost every week. Let's see. So let's say hello to some more people here. First of all, we got Ramoga. Oh, please don't call me Joseph. I'm fine with Joe. I don't mind. Now, somebody out there, I'll call him Joseph. It burns him up. I'm okay with it. I just prefer Joe. That's all. It's okay. Please, sir, can I have some more? So you can have some more water and string beans. That's what you can have. And we got Penny Lane here. Hello, Penny Lane. What's going on? And we have Empty Glass here. And by the way, Empty Glass, I didn't pay any heed, I'm afraid, to what we talked about last week. Can you believe it's been a week already? It seems like only mere hours ago, that we were talking about the macro thing. And I decided I didn't do the AI thing, because I don't know. I thought, for one thing, I didn't want to really, but then I thought I was going to dabble in it. I thought maybe I'd dabble in it a little bit. And then I was thinking of John Lennon. John Lennon was on a macrobiotic diet. He was a toothpick. Don't want to be a toothpick, so that's where that was at. Do you follow other channels for weight loss tips or recipes? I've seen a lot of things, but right now the answer is no. But I'm not saying it's going to be no forever. I'm not opposed to it. I'll do it. Did you miss anything? Well, I'm not yet, but all I can tell you is that I had a very good week. I had a very good week, and I'm going to talk about that soon. Okay, it's time for you to go, Brody, because all you say is happy birthday every time we're here. So I'm going to delete it. And if you keep doing it, you'll be gone altogether, okay? So I don't know what this routine is. I don't know if that's just your way of saying hello. I bet it's just your joke. That's your thing. Just say happy birthday. Remember Frosty the Snowman? The cartoon where he said "Happy Birthday." That was his way of saying hello. I don't know. Which do you think is worse, sugar or carbs? Well, carbs and sugar are the same thing for one thing, but I know what you're saying. You're saying they're both. There's neither. There's neither that's worse. They're both the same thing. If you eat sugar, like table sugar, like white sugar in your coffee or something, that's the worst you could do. But if you have a slice of pizza made from white flour, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. There's no difference really. So again, this is a good time for me to say this because I'm going to make sure I say this in every video that I do, every live stream that I do. I am not a doctor. I am not a doctor. I'm not a physician. I'm not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I don't claim to be. This is just my opinions based on what I'm doing. And I'm curious about what you're doing out there. And we know together figuring out what works for us. What works for me may not work for you. What works for you may not work for me. So that's the main thing to know with these. Okay. So let's see where we're going to go from here. And I'll start out because I like to wait a little bit. You hear the same thing every time. Every time I do one of these, it's the same words I say. And remember to hit the like button, like and subscribe, You know, still trying to beef this channel up. I want to try to get more subscribers. We're getting really close to 1,000. I appreciate it. Thank you all who have subscribed, and I hope we get more. All right. I'm battling the upstairs neighbor right now because that's the only thing that sucks about living in an apartment. I'm battling two things. I've got the train. You may hear the train right now. Or maybe you don't hear it, but I get a train every 5-10 minutes going by. It seems like. And, we also got the neighbor walking upstairs. Well, like I said, when there's neighbors, there's two things I don't like about it. Number one is I don't want to be disturbed, but even more importantly, I get self-conscious. I don't want to be heard. I don't want anybody listening, eavesdropping in on me. So I don't love it, but what is it? Now, look at this. Look at this great news from Laura. Congratulations. Laura says she lost 2 pounds. I might have to, I might have to give you the Godzilla salute. If somebody lost weight, maybe I'll start using the Godzilla until I come up with something better. Let's give Laura the salute for weight loss. Yeah, I'll use that for that. We're jumping for joy. I know Ramoga loves that regardless. Any reason I can use the Godzilla thing, Ramoga is very happy with that. So good for you and congratulations. And Empty Glass just informs me that learning about your macros has nothing to do about macrobiotics. Please read about it. I believe it can help you. You can tailor your eating plan with foods you prefer. No, I'm going to do it the way I want, I think, for now. I mean, I'll keep it in the back of my head. And if I'm having trouble or I decide later down the line, Empty Glass had a good point there. I think I'd like to try to make it work with foods that I prefer to eat. I'm very happy right now eliminating a lot of foods. There may be a time when I don't feel that way. If there's a time that I'm like, I want to try something different, or I want to get more foods in, I want to work with, I need a new strategy, or I need a new menu, if you will. By all means, I won't forget you. There's Laura. You're welcome, Laura. Congratulations. Anybody else? And this is what we want to do. If anybody else, some people here are not even trying to lose weight. That's fine. But for those who are, please tell me where you are. I'm going to tell you what I've accomplished this week. Hey, 4D Man says the train is atmospheric. It adds something to the streams like smoke. I don't like smoke. I like the smoke because it's you, 4D. When you're on, I accept it because that's you. But I don't like smoke. Hello, George. All right, now. Thank you, George, for being here. Let's talk about it. Okay. All right. Where do I start? This is a good week I had, and a story that is incredible, really. First of all, I lost more weight during the week than I have now on Sunday because Sunday, if I do the show, is the official weigh-in. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. It's Tom. Busy morning at work, but I still had a couple of pieces of French toast, two Mountain Dews, and a candy bar. You laugh about it, Tom. I think you're headed for disaster. Believe me. I mean, I've got like 10 years on you, granted, but don't wait for as long as I've waited. Okay. But anyway, it is funny. But all right, and let's talk. Hold on, everybody. If everybody could just stop right now for a while, just wait for your questions till after I get it done. Okay, here's the thing. I lost from last Sunday, this week, 2.6 pounds. So my goal, the ideal thing, was to lose 2 pounds a week. They say that healthy weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds per week. I'd be very happy if I could lose two. You can't lose two every week. The last couple of weigh-ins, I lost only ounces. I think the last 2 times it was just ounces. It wasn't even a pound each week. This time I lost 2.6. That's more like it. And the total weight that I've lost so far since I started on June 21st is 13.4 pounds down. So I'm down 13.4 pounds in 6 weeks. All right. Now, this is the crazy part of it. During this week, I weighed myself several times. Remember, it was like I said, a lot of people say, do not weigh yourself that many times. Don't weigh yourself every day. You're only going to get depressed. This time I got depressed, but for a different reason, because I lost more weight in the middle of the week and I went back up a little bit. I don't know why. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't cheat. I didn't give in. Just the way it is. Fluctuations, water, who knows? So, let's put it this way. I'm trying to remember how I'm going to word this. I'm talking to myself a little bit here. All right. Let's go back to last Sunday. Last Sunday, I weighed in I'll say the number. I weighed in at 308.6. Last Sunday, I was 308.6. Tuesday, I weighed myself again. I was 307.6. Okay, that was a pound down. Then Wednesday, the day after that, I was 305.8. Okay, I went from 308.6 to 307.6. Next day to 305.8. You know what's interesting about that? I didn't even see 306. That happens. And a lot of you out there know what it's like. Sometimes you'll weigh yourself. You're like, hey, I passed the number. I didn't even see 6. I passed right up that number 6. Number 6 never had a chance. I went right to 05. Okay, so I was 305.8. But wait, it gets better than that. The next day, Thursday, I get on the scale. I'm 304.8. I'm like, what? I went from 308 to 304 in 4 days. I went from 308 to 304 in 4 days. I'm like, this is great, but I know it's not going to go down. It's going to go up again. Sure enough, by the time we got to Saturday and Sunday, today's Sunday, 306. So today I weigh 306.0, 306 even. And again, look, I'm giving you my numbers. I wasn't going to, but what the hell? Okay. It is what it is. I've seen other people do it. I don't give a shit. The bottom line is I've never been 300 in my life. So I had to start big time. I went from 319 at my all-time life high weight, 319.2 down to today, 306.0 for a total loss of 13.4. And, the only thing that was bizarre about it, as I say, was that I couldn't believe it. It was going down fast, 308, 307, 305, 304. I'm like, are we going to go down to 303, 302? No, we're going to go up to 6. Remember I told you a while ago, if you remember, I just said I passed the number 6. There was no 306. I went from 8 to 7 to 5 to 4. No 6. Now the 6 shows itself. It's a late bloomer. That's how it is. That's how it goes. Very strange. And what's some of the things that I did? Here's the crazy thing too. I didn't walk during that period when I was losing the weight, going down like 3-4 numbers. I went 3 days without walking. I lost weight by not walking. What? I know sometimes they say maybe if you're waiting, if you don't walk and or I should say, if you, I mean, I'm getting different thoughts here. If you do walk, you could start putting on density, muscle density. So I was afraid to walk again, and sure enough, when I started walking again, I started walking again. I wound up getting back up to a little bit. Look, I'm still happy. I still lost 2.6 pounds overall since last week. That's above average. That's better than average. But I did take a little glimpse of those days where I went even lower. Could you figure that out? And I'm just wondering if the reason I had trouble the last couple of weeks was because of the salt intake. And I think maybe during the period this week, when I was seeing rapid weight loss, maybe it was because I wasn't eating hummus and I wasn't eating anchovies. Maybe I was reducing the salt intake. I don't know, you know. So I'm very happy, and I'm going to tell you a story during this week in a little bit about how I beat a sugar craving one day. So first, let's go back here. Um, which beetle do I think maintain the healthiest diet? One thing I'll say about the beetles is that they all seem to be good especially as they got older about their diets. I got to say that the healthiest diet. I'm not going to say Paul because Paul doesn't eat meat, and I believe in eating meat. I don't believe in total 100% carnivore. I know that carnivore diet, 100% eating meat and nothing but meat. I know that's worked for a lot of people out there. And again, I'm not a doctor, not a physician. I'm not trying to give advice. I'm just telling you what I do. I believe in meat. I definitely believe in eating meat. Definitely. Definitely. I'm a meat eater. But I also like some fruits and vegetables in there too. So I'm more ketovore, I guess they call it, I guess. But anyway, I think that John Lennon probably had the unhealthiest diet. Now, all I could tell you is I think John Lennon was the most unhealthy diet. Do you use apps to keep track of how many calories you eat? I don't. I don't go that crazy. EKR. I don't go that meticulous because I think I go out of my mind. I do think that a lot of times I'm actually under calorie eating. I think I'm eating under the daily recommended calories, and if I'm eating under the calories, I'm thinking that's not too good either. You have to eat a certain amount of calories. You can't undereat, really. I don't think, from what I understand. What is my goal? Well, one step at a time. My goal right now is to get back into the 200s. Then my goal would be to get to 250. Then my goal would be to get 200 or under 200. Ultimately, I'm looking for like 175. That's the number I have in my head. That's my goal. So, let's see how it is. I'm going to do whatever I can, and I'll have to take whatever my body gives me right now. Yes, indeed, Walkman. It's want power. That's what I use. I use want power. How bad do you want it? We're going to talk about that. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to tell you a great story how I used that want power and fought back sugar craving. What was my lowest weight during my adult life? Good question. I didn't weigh myself. You can see sometimes when you look at pictures of me, even the picture I use for this thumbnail is the thinnest I've ever been, I think. If you look at the picture that I use, that's the thinnest I ever was in my adult life. And I didn't weigh myself in those days, but I'm thinking it might have been 150, maybe even less. I'm thinking. Weight loss is a roller coaster. Enjoy the ride. I mean, when it comes back to the lowest I've ever been in my adult life, I did wear a medium shirt. I used to buy medium shirts. So I don't know, and when I was 30, when I was about 30 years old, I was a medium. Okay. Hello to Robert P. And hello, Robbie. Thank you for showing up here. I appreciate it, everybody. Anybody that's here. Okay. Makes sense to me because day to day or even week to week, weight loss is never a straight line, right? As the body takes its time adjusting. Also, without tracking every bite, it's harder to know. Yeah, so you know what I mean. I was very happy with this week, but boy, it's, it's tough when you're weighing yourself too often. Let's put it that way. Pumping Vinyl, what's up there, sir? Have you tried fasted cardio? Now, when you say fasted cardio, what does that mean exactly? Uh, not sure exactly what that means. I mean, I'm getting it mixed up with fasting, and I do intermittent fasting. That's what I do, meaning I go roughly like 16 hours without eating, and if after dinner, something like that. Another thing I'll say I did better this week is I got better at not eating after dinner. I should mention that because I do much better as I think most of us would. If after dinner I don't eat anything, I stay up late. I'll eat dinner. It depends, as I've said. Sometimes I eat dinner at 6 o'clock. Sometimes I eat at 7:30. There are rare times when I eat dinner at 8:30, but always around 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock or so. I always, if I'm going to cheat, I want to cheat that, even if it's a piece of fruit or even if it's a piece of cheese. I do that, and of course, I know it's better not to do it. And I think I had better results this week because I for the most part, I didn't eat anything, didn't snack after dinner at all. So that's good. Okay, Robert P says it took me 2 years to go from 280 to 242. Stayed there 6 months. Okay. Now hit 236.38, slow and steady. Good for you, sir. Very good. Good news. You have frozen several times on my feed. Just want to take a moment here to see if I've frozen on anybody else's feed. Sometimes it's your own computer, not mine, but sometimes it's mine. Hi, Kimba. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Very happy with this particular week. I'm very happy overall with what I've achieved. So far, losing 13.4 pounds in 6 weeks is better than the recommended amount. It's a little over the recommended amount. I think 12 pounds would have been like average. 13.4 is a little better, so I'm happy about that. Okay, I wonder how many calories are in this banana split I'm eating right now. Okay, enjoy it, but don't come crying to me. Not eating after dinner is a game changer. As long as you can stick to it, really helps you. Yeah, the thing is, too, that I don't go to bed early. I stay up till at least midnight or 12:30. At least I average midnight, 12:30 a.m. going to bed. So if I eat dinner at 7 o'clock and I go to bed at midnight or 12:30, that's tough going through those munchy hours. And as Beetle Babe mentioned the word last time, grazing, grazing, munchies, doing that, that's tough. Okay, here goes Pumping Vinyl. Fasted cardio, basically replacing a cardio activity with your breakfast in the morning. The body feeds off of stored energy. I lost weight pretty good a few times doing that. That's cool. Well, I don't do that. I don't do that. And the breakfast, my breakfast, if you want to call it breakfast, is lunchtime. Because I do the intermittent fasting, right? Like let's say I eat at 7. I average about 7 p.m. dinner. Say I eat dinner at 7 p.m. I don't eat anything else until at least 11 o'clock the next morning. Or it could be 11, 11:30 or noon. So I try to go from 7 p.m. to 11 a.m. Now I guess you call that breakfast. It could be breakfast foods like eggs or fruit or something, or it could be like a burger patty, or fish or something, like that. But I don't do any cardio when I do it. It froze for me too, but that was 5 minutes ago. Oh boy, I hope it's not me. Yeah, there's some freezing going on here. I don't understand that. But were you able to hear me? Hope you were able to hear. Were you able to hear me, or the picture froze, or did you not hear me either? Okay, definitely. Eating after dinner is a killer. I struggle with that when I'm not losing. Always the answer for me. Yeah. If you're having a stumbling block there, making sure you don't eat after dinner. Only eat 2 times a day. Tomorrow I will have one puffy taco. Doc is visiting. Oh yeah, I know you guys love those puffy tacos, and if it works for you, why not? Why not? We're going to talk, like I promised, about how I staved off a sugar craving this week. Big sugar craving. Yeah, too bad about this. But again, I want to know was everybody's telling me I froze for a bit, but will somebody tell me when that happens? Do you still hear the audio, or do you not hear the audio either? Because that's a drag. That's a drag. Okay, this is an interesting question. With the 13 pounds loss, are you feeling any better? The answer is yes and no. There are times when I feel better, and there are days like today where I don't feel good at all. I don't feel too good. And I don't know why. Sometimes I have no energy, and it's hard to concentrate, cognitive problems, even though I'm doing the right things. And then there's other days where I'm like having a little more energy than usual, and I'm feeling more clear. You know, when I'm doing a live stream like this, it helps sometimes, right? I'm trying to be alert. I'm trying to be cognitively sound. The words are just coming out however I could figure them out. But it's a little bit of, I've always had this since I was in my 20s. It's always a little effort. It might seem natural. It might seem like I'm just flowing the words out. But sometimes it's like taking a machete in a jungle and hacking your way through very thick vines to try to get the thoughts out. And it sounds natural, but it's not always. Sometimes it flows better. So anyway, yes and no. But then again, I've only just started. I've only been without the sugar really for 6 weeks. And see, I'm pausing here to think of my words. And I needed more time, I think. And you got to consider I'm still, overweight. I mean, I'm still in the early 300s. So I'm still way too heavy. So, yeah. Yeah, evening's a tough one. Evening is tough. This sucks. This sucks. I'm trying. I hope. I'm glad the picture's okay now, but geez, some people say the audio froze. I just hope that you heard what I had to say. I hope you heard what I accomplished. So anyway, did everybody get to hear the numbers that I gave out? At least did you hear the numbers? All right. Okay, breakfast around 10:30. Stop eating 6 p.m. for sure. If I get desperate, I eat an apple or blueberries. Thank you. Thank you. Another thing I did was I bought blueberries, and I've been eating blueberries. That's if I want something sweet, I have blueberries. Berries are very good, all kinds of berries. Now the thing is, I stick with blueberries because I find that for me, my experience, tell me what you experience. But from my experience, I find that blueberries last longer as far as going bad. Strawberries, they start to get fuzz on them and white fuzz like that. Strawberries are the worst. And same thing with blackberries. I like blackberries, but blackberries also seem to go bad pretty fast. Blueberries seem to last the longest, so I'm sticking with blueberries. And of course, I rinse them off before I eat them, but I don't think that does much. I mean, I do it because I want to be as safe as I can, but I don't think it really does that much. I have a little, I don't know what you call it. It's a little strainer thing. It's like on a handle with a little net strainer. And I put the blueberries in there, about, a bunch of them. Then I run the water and I try to get I don't see anything coming off, but I try to get whatever's off. Then I eat them with a spoon out of the holder. And that's what I've been doing. So the blueberries have been keeping me with my sugar craving, giving me something sweet to eat. Okay. Let's see. All right. Let's see. Okay, I'll stop harping on macros, but mention one more thing. It will help you organize your eating day and also prevent you from under-eating. I found myself under-eating proteins by a lot. Fair enough. Fair enough. Just take that information, put it back there, empty glass. I know you're probably thinking, what's the point? A lot of people might figure, what's the point? You try to help and they're not listening to you. But okay. We wash our fruit in vinegar and water. I'm not going to have fruit with vinegar on it. I can forget it. Only a minute though. Only for a minute. Okay. That happens with strawberries when you purchase them too ripe. Try to buy them when they're not such a red color. What do you mean? Because they're already halfway gone. Okay, thank you, Gary. Now, thank you, Gary. Let me tell you the story. A half hour in, what happened? Okay, as some of you know, if you watch my main channel called Mean Mr. Mayo, and if by any chance you're here and you don't watch my other two channels, why not? But anyway, I got together with my friend Mikey Arugula. You've probably all seen the video or maybe know about it. And we got together with a whole bunch of people. Mikey treated everybody for breakfast. God bless that man. You know, we had a big crowd. We went to a diner. He treated everybody for breakfast. I had arugula salad. He turned me on to arugula salad. So I had arugula salad and I had 3 poached eggs. That's what I do. 3 poached eggs, the salad, and yes, I had 2 sausages. And a lot of people say sausages, it's horrible. I don't care. I had them. I mean, I'm not just going to drink water. I'm just going to eat celery. That's not happening. So that was a good breakfast. Now the guy next to me, I won't say who it was. One of the people in the entourage, even though he's a diabetic, he decided to eat pancakes with whipped cream. And he said to me, "You want some? I'll cut some off, and you can." I said, "Here's the thing. I had no desire. See, this is it. I have that want power. I don't want to eat crap, but I want to lose weight and I want to be healthy. I don't want that stuff in my body, period. That's how I feel. So there was no temptation. There was no temptation whatsoever. You follow? So when he offered me, I said, no, I don't even want it. And that's this time, my success this last 6 weeks, is not because I'm trying to use willpower to fight back the urge to eat shit. It's working because I don't even want it. It's not even, the desire's not even there, and that's great. But wait till you hear the rest of the story. So this was about, I don't know, 11:30 in the morning, say, okay? And Jill says, that was a good choice. That's a great breakfast, including the sausage. I think so. Okay. Blueberries good too. Yeah. Now, we got together. All of us went back to Mikey's place. We had a lot of enjoyment. We hung out. I had the camera. I recorded all our day. I made a video out of it. Then about 3:30 p.m., near 3:30 p.m., I think it was, about 3:30, middle of the day, I started to get something. This happens to me. It's happened to me since I'm in my 20s. I started to get very down. I started to feel very drained. Part of it is because of Mikey. Mikey has a lot of energy. He's always like this. Mikey's a crazy man. Mikey will make you tired. But I started to get very tired. And all of a sudden, this is a whole nother topic, a whole nother subject someday. I felt like I wasn't able to be myself. I hate when that happens. Suddenly I'm confused a little bit. I don't want to be there. But by this time, everybody was going home anyway. The festivities were winding down anyway. But I knew right away I was like having a crash or something. So all I wanted at that time was sugar. Now, I know it probably was a low blood sugar crash. Look, I was diagnosed with low blood sugar, hypoglycemia, when I was in my 20s. That's all I could tell you. We'll leave it at that. But what happened, the point of the story is I wanted something sweet. I probably needed a sugar boost. I don't know, and the diner that we went to was pretty close. And another guy said, why don't we go? You want to go back to the diner? Because I could use some pie. I could use some coconut custard pie. By the way, it was the same guy that ate the pancakes who has the diabetes. Okay. He says, let's go get some pie. Now, you know what I used to have when I wasn't doing right, when I wasn't dieting? Months ago, I would have a piece of strawberry shortcake from that diner. They give you a big hunk like that, big hunk of strawberry shortcake, and they'd give you I'd get with it. I'd get with it a chocolate egg cream combination, chocolate with strawberry shortcake, and I was having that craving, and I'm like, I need sugar. I need something sweet. I think I don't even know if that would have helped, but I was having a complete, crash down or something. So I was gonna go over there, and I was this close for the first time. This is the most severe attack. I call it an attack. It's an attack or a spell. I have a spell or attack. Sometimes I'll say to my girlfriend, I think I'm having a spell or something. And when that happens, all responsibility goes out the window. All sense of morals, obligation, strength, determination, all goes out the window. And I was very near with this guy. Me and this guy were going to go over, and I was going to get a piece of cake and maybe even the egg cream with it, a chocolate egg cream. I even went so far as I went onto my phone and I actually typed in AI. I said, I worded it something like, if a person has gone 6 weeks and has eaten no sugar and has been very good on a diet, and then decides just for one incident to eat tons of sugar just for one incident, will that ruin everything and change things? Because I was afraid that if I did that, I would undo everything, and I'm sure Jill's listening, and I don't just mean gaining calories. I don't mean gaining weight back. I mean also would my body's metabolism start going haywire again? I looked in, I typed it in, and the AI said, no. This is what it said. No. If you've been good for 6 weeks and haven't had any sugar, really, and then you decide just one day to go insane eating sugar, it will not undo anything that you've accomplished in 6 weeks. And I said, bingo, let's go. I'm in. I can get away with it. And then I stopped and I said, no, I won't do it. And I used the want power. I realized what I wanted. I want to lose the weight. I'm not going to do that. Forget it. And I went home. And instead, when I got home, I had some berries. I rinsed off the berries and I ate the berries. That satisfied me. And I felt better too. And do you know, the next day was when I got down to that, like 4 pounds lighter. The next day, I was really grateful because, that's when I was at my lowest. Remember, I just said I went from 308 on Sunday to 304 on Thursday. This was Wednesday. I was 308 on Sunday. Wednesday was the day I got together with the people, and I was down to 305. And then I had this challenge on 305, and I didn't eat. The next day, Thursday, 304. I was very happy. Let's put it that way. Okay, AI lied. I'm glad you stopped yourself. Well, see, that's the thing. Everybody's got beliefs. I think a lot of what they say in there are facts. Actually, I don't think they lied. I really don't. But you have your opinion. I have mine. If you go to 10 doctors, they'll all have different opinions, and AI, I guess, also has a different view. But I don't know. I don't know about that. Robert Peace has been here, done that. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about this. Right. You people were talking about the frozen berries. Sorry, I forgot about that. I'm happy with the blueberries, though. Usually when that happens, a drop of energy, you should have a piece of fruit or a glass of juice. Yeah, I won't do the juice. I will not do the juice because the juice is too much heavily concentrated sugar. In the old days, when I was in my 20s, I would dilute it right here. I have half a glass of water here. I dilute it with half a glass. By the way, I'll take a sip now. But yeah, I had some fruit, so there you go. Strawberry shortcake equals one of many cakes and pastries I ate regularly at Rocco's of Bleecker Street. Then I walked it off all the way to Harlem. That's a major win. AI told you what you wanted to hear. You overcame that. Exactly. I appreciate that. Thank you, Empty Glass. And that's what I feel. This is what we're here for. I had a triumph, and I felt that you feel good about it. If that had been 2 months ago, I would have just said the caved in. And why does it make a difference in the word I use? Why is want power, WANT power? Why is want power so much more effective for me than willpower? I don't know. But that's willpower. I used one. You could call it willpower that I overcame it, but it's want power more for me. It doesn't have anything to do with cravings of actual sweets. You're talking about because your blood sugar's down. Your blood sugar needs to be up a little bit. Yeah, I know. But yeah. It was like your sugar's lower. I don't know how yeah, right here. It's a drop in blood sugar usually. Exactly. Well, I knew that. Yeah. And your blood sugar wants to get raised. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of mistake that people make, people who are diabetic, a lot of people make the mistake. And I have books, as I say, in the closet. I have tons of books from the 1980s and 90s when I was really into this, where I realized that, people get a drop in sugar, and right away what they do is they go and look for a candy bar or drink a big glass of orange juice. So that nothing could be worse. How old are you in the younger picture? You weren't overweight then. In that picture, I was 31. The picture that accompanies it, it's 31. I was 31 in that picture. But don't forget, I was overweight before that. That picture was, again, back in those days when I was 31. I did this too. I did no sugar and no carbs. That's how I got to that. I did no sugar and no carbs, no bread like I'm doing now. I did that from, say, 1989 to 1994. That picture you're asking about was taken of me in 1993, right when I was still doing it. In 1994, I started eating everything. You name it, I'll eat it. It didn't matter what it was. I've eaten everything, sugars of all kinds since 1994. And only now, late, even though I had the knowledge, what I didn't have was the want. I didn't want it bad enough, man. Didn't want it bad enough. That's why I dabbled in it. Occasionally, if you watch my videos on my main channel, you'll see videos where I'm slimmer than heavier, than slimmer than heavier. I didn't have the want. So I use frozen berries with spinach, only in summer. Okie doke. I will eat strawberries. Sometimes it helps when I crave sweets. Yeah, the berries work good for me, yeah. Well, AI doesn't know you and your circumstances. That's a good point. Everybody's an individual. I'll give you that. In general, sure, if a metabolically healthy person has a one-time sweet dessert, no, it doesn't cause a major issue or make you gain back 6 weeks of weight. Right. But you're right. When you are, that's fair. That's fair, what you say. Everybody's an individual. Maybe for me, it could be more disastrous to do that than for somebody else. Yeah, I believe me. Not to say that I know everything already. That's one of the things you'll see I do. I'll say I know, because I got books on it. Yeah, it's glucose. Glucose is what blood sugar is, right? And sucrose is what sugar is. Table sugar, say. Want power kind of means you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. I guess so. Yeah. Tom, I hope to want it more soon. By the way, Tom, I have to talk to you about something very important. I wanted to ask you about doing a certain show with me. I want to do a show. So let's get in touch about that. I'll tell you my idea. People who are insulin resistant do tend to have the crashes because insulin secretion overreacts. In a healthy metabolism, the spike is less from a meal and only a small insulin secretion. I'm telling you, when this thing happens to me, sometimes it'll happen at the record store. I'll spend an afternoon. I'll go to the record store and I'll feel great, feel normal, perfect. I'll feel like myself. Then all of a sudden, for no reason, I'll be like, very weak, very tired. All of a sudden, drained. Can't think. The main thing is the brain fog. Can't think clearly. Yeah, just hearing me talk. It's obviously a sugar drop, but you can't go and eat a lot of, fructose. Not fructose, sucrose. You can't go around eating a lot of sucrose. You can't go around eating white sugar and white flour. Starting next week, I will start the Ozempic to help control my blood sugars. If it helps with the weight, I'll let you know. Tired of pills. This is one shot a week. Yeah, I'm not a fan of shots. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physician. I'm just telling you my opinion. Ozempic works for people. And I know if people who take it because of diabetes to control their sugars, it works for them and has this, and also like almost like a side effect of losing weight. But I think there's a lot of people that have lost way too much weight on that stuff. But anyway, I realize, again, I'm going to keep saying this. You'll get tired of me saying this, but I am not claiming to be a know-it-all. I'm not. And I'm not claiming to speak for everybody. I can't. I won't. But I certainly am no doctor. I have always said since I physically met you in March of 25, I support whatever goals you have, my friend, and thank you for the support you've given to my channel. Here's some support again. Uncle Paul's Beatles Pop Playhouse. He has an amazing collection of all nostalgia. His place is a nostalgic delight, right? I have a feeling that will improve if you keep fixing your metabolism. I think so too. Yeah, I agree with JD. As you fix yourself, those crashes will likely go away. I think so. Problem with Ozempic is that you have to take forever to keep the weight off, and we'll lose tons of muscle over time. That's a danger. And I know, I tend to agree with that, what JD said, but everybody's different, and some people have different findings, and different doctors say different things. What would you guess your weight was in that picture of me at 31? I'm going to say 155, 160, something like that. And I'm not looking for that again. I don't even know if it's doable anymore at my age, but I'm looking for 175. I'm looking for I mean, lifestyle changes will continue, but don't want to take 3 metformin a day. Yeah. So where's Danny? Danny's watching. I know Danny's been saying, you need to do more exercise. You need to do more exercise. That's what you need. That Danny's like all of a sudden Jack LaLanne. He's like Danny LaLanne, right? All of a sudden, he's telling me you need to do more exercise, and he'll probably write it here too. It'd be funny. But the thing is, Danny, like I said, I got down like all the way down to 304 by doing no walking, no exercise. I did no exercise. I went from 308 to 304 this past week by doing no walking or no real. And by the way, when I say no exercise and no walking, I'm not sedentary like this. I'm up and about. I go to the flea market and walk around. I go to the when I'm at the record store, I'm on my feet all day. I don't sit. I'm walking around the place constantly, up and down the aisles. We go shopping. We go to the mall, shop. So I'm walking. Even if I don't do my usual steps, I'm moving. But the point is, I didn't do any I actually did less exercise than I usually do, and I lost more weight, which is weird. A little weightlifting would help, but I wouldn't take health advice from a guy who smokes. Yeah, this is true. I would never do weightlifting. I just wouldn't. Not at my age, anyway. Maybe not in my shape. But I would do dumbbells. I mean, I would do, I do some of the curls. I do some of whatever you do, this stuff. I would do that, maybe. But I wouldn't be doing like that kind of stuff. Low dose for sugar, eat protein, and chair exercises. I always hear about the chair exercises. I don't really know exactly what they are. Light weightlifting for arms, yeah. Weight loss is 90% food intake. Not to say exercise is not healthy for you, but it plays very little role. Well, I would agree with you that I would agree that 90% is food. 90% is food intake. Food. Um, I guess the exercising is for tone, for muscle tone, right? I want to keep muscle tone going, right? I'm paying for the sins of my youth. Wish I had got serious sooner myself. Exactly. I hear you, brother. I hear you. I mean, I was 34 years old. I mean, I was 34. No, hold on, 32 years old. I was 32 years old when I started eating bad again back in 1994. From 32 to 64, I ate badly, and I knew it. I knew everything I'm talking about here today. I already knew everything here that I'm talking about today. I already did. I did all of this when I was how old was I? 27. From age 27 to age 32, I did everything I'm talking about here today. I kept trim. Then at 32, for whatever reason, I just went nuts. And here I am. I wasted my 30s, my 40s, and my 50s, and my early. My 30s, 40s, and 50s I spent being overweight. Now, that's not to say I haven't had a great life. I have. I've had a great time. I don't regret any of the years. I'm just saying I could have been trimmer. I could have done this 30 years ago. You can have a lot of success with just dumbbells. Exactly. I've heard that. I've heard that as well. Um, okay, so I pretty much said everything I want to say. We can still talk. I don't mind as long as there's a good conversation going here. I'm fine with that. And I don't mind. I don't mind people talking between themselves either. I see Kimba and Jill are having a discussion, and that's fine. So, are we all done? Everybody? Any more comments? Any more tips that I may or may not take, depending on what it is? Just waiting a little bit. Okay, that breakfast that you had before that crash that day probably didn't eat enough. I wonder. I wonder about that. You could be right. You could be right. But I tend to have those situations though, no matter what. But something to think about. Something to keep in mind. Resistance training like dumbbells and other simple exercises are what maintain and build muscle. Not walking very much. That's more cardio. No, well, I should say I'm trying to keep my cardio and my what's the word I'm looking for? It's a simple word. It's a simple word. See what I mean? Simple words fail me. This happens as you get older anyway. Circulation. Well, it's cardio. Circulation. I want to keep the circulation going. Cardio. Cardio is very important. So I do it for cardio. But it also helps your legs, What am I drinking these days? Well, just water, really. I'm drinking water now. You might notice I don't have a LaCroix can of seltzer with me now. I have been having a LaCroix. I thought for a while, even though that has no calories or nothing in it, I thought that may be the gas and was doing bloating or something. But okay, how about trying a nutritionist and a trainer to get you motivated? Well, a couple of things, John. The first thing is right now, as of this day, I'm very motivated. So I don't need the motivation right now. I'm motivated. And then as far as nutritionist and trainer, everybody has their own ideas, and I know I'm going to wind up locking horns with people. I know that. What I will do is I'll put this all in my back pocket, and I always know there are nutritionists and trainers out there and things if I decide that I want it. But right now, I don't feel I need it. I mean, I've lost 13.4 pounds in 6 weeks. That's very good, So there's a Jack LaLanne thing. Three. Okay, Robert P. Thank you very much for weighing in. Thanks for weighing in. Get it? I had 3 boiled eggs and baked beans yesterday, a meal for Laurel and Hardy in the Great Depression. Not impressed. I'm going back to food replacement drinks. Okay, whatever works for you. Whatever works. Please, by all means, do what works for you. Just don't eat Tootsie Rolls and don't eat marshmallows and devil dogs, and don't smoke cigarettes. And that's a big help. Anyway, so we might be able to stop early this week here on the show. Just hanging around a little bit longer to see what's going on. Keep doing what you're doing, and then at 275 or so, you can reevaluate to plan the next 50 pounds. Exactly. Yep. One step at a time. Yep. And I have to let it go at what I understand. I have to let it go whatever speed my body wants to go. I'd like to lose at least like 90 something pounds in a year. It's August the 2nd today. I'd like to sit here next August 2nd and be down at least 90 some odd pounds, if not 100. Do I think that's a realistic thing? Maybe not at this age. But I'm saying I'll take and accept whatever I get, because what choice do I have? The other, if I'm not where I'd love to be, ideally, what am I going to do? Give up? Start eating crap? That's not an option. It's not an option. I'll say this much. Tomorrow, August 3rd, it's a year ago. Tomorrow will be a year since I cheated last time with the pizza. You remember? Last year in 2025, I went from March to August and lost 38 pounds. Well, actually, I lost 30 pounds from March to August. The 8 pounds had been from January, February. But anyway, I lost a total of 38 pounds. And August 3rd, I said, let me have a little pizza and a little ginger ale. I haven't had that in months. And the rest is history. I went the next 10 months eating everything. So this time I think I've got the want power. No, I lost almost 14 pounds in 6 weeks. It's 6 weeks, which is still very good. That's more than 2 pounds a week. Yeah, exactly. See, one last comment. Try not to weigh yourself every day. It would be interesting to see you go till Sunday to weigh in and see what happens. I will say this, empty glass. You see what I mean, though? Like, we'll use the numbers again, okay? Last Sunday, let me use my list, just my notes to remind myself. Last Sunday, I was 308.6. This Sunday, if I hadn't weighed myself, I'd be 306.0. That's a loss this week of 2.6 pounds. Very good. But because I did weigh myself, I saw that I got down to 307.6. Then I saw that I got down to 305.8. I also saw on Thursday I got down to 304.8. And then I went back to 306. But I told you I'd see that 306 number. There's no 306 in here, But anyway, in between the week, I never hit 306, but now I did. So anyway, at least by weighing myself every day, I noticed that my body's capable of getting down even farther. But I agree, it's not the best idea. It's not the best idea to weigh yourself every day. Definitely. You won't ever want to have to lose these same pounds again. You're telling me, after all the effort you put in. People always say, it's going to take me a long time to lose it because it took me a long time to put it on. Bullshit. It takes no time to put it on. You put it on easy, but it takes a lot of time to lose it. By the way, watch the collector's video with Crazy Mikey and the rant video. Very entertaining. Thank you much. Have fun. So, in no way in hell am I ever going to do that. Paul could keep his vegetarianism or veganism, whatever he is, to himself. Okay, stop preaching practices, Paul McCartney. No, Ringo could eat his freaking kale, have his kale diet himself. God bless them, but there's no way that I'm going to do that. Okay. And eventually I will eat pasta again, and eventually I will eat pizza again. The question is, how rarely will I do that? But that's nowhere near my world now. It's too early. Hello, James Farley. I got to say goodbye too because I'm going to be leaving very shortly. So, all right. Any other things here? No, I think that's it. All right. I don't want to say people have a couple of people having conversations together here, a few people, so I don't really want to end that conversation for their sake. But got to get rolling, I guess. Got to get rolling. All right, people. Thank you so much. Now, next week, Empty Glass was saying, let's see what happens if you don't weigh yourself. You think it'll be interesting to see what happens if you don't weigh yourself till next Sunday. And can I do that? I don't know. But anyway, you never know. All right, folks. Thank you very much. Please, again, tell your friends, come back. Let's do this together, And also, please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That would really help me out a lot. All right, Ramolga, thank you very much. Talk to you all soon. Good luck.